ayes are 32, the nays are 13. Alderman Beal.
Mr. President, motion to reconsider the vote.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion failed. Alderman O'Connor, before you speak, I'd like to put all the last three votes in context of where we are as a city. And the most important thing to me is whether you take the one in the 10th Ward, the one in the 25th, and the one in the 2nd, and beyond. 11 years ago, we set out, rather 8 years ago in 2011, we set out to make Chicago a city where you can create jobs, whether they're manufacturing, industrial jobs, construction jobs, office jobs, across the city of Chicago. Every one of these investments will last the same amount of time. Every one of them will pay dividends beyond the boundaries of the physical space, whether that is in affordable housing, open space, whether that will be improvements along the river that will go beyond this area, whether that will be for neighborhood opportunity funds that will be resources for small businesses on the south and west side, whether in fact in this area there will also be an unprecedented investment in our industrial zones that will complement the investment we just made in the facility at North Point in the Hegwish, greater Hegwish community. Every one of the steps we've taken over the 8 years has allowed Chicago to be the #1 city for direct foreign investment in the United States for 6 consecutive years, and last year #5 in the world, and the #1 city for corporate relocation. Today we have the lowest unemployment on record and the highest employment. These are investments in the future that are not bound by the boundary of the space. They actually will pay dividends throughout the city of Chicago, and that reason is because of the changes we collectively made over the last couple of years to make sure that we made an investment. The benefits were not restricted, but actually gone across the city of Chicago in different efforts. That's how you advance affordable housing. That's how you advance small neighborhood businesses. That is how you advance the ecological and environmental quality of the river, which is the Friends of the Chicago River were the first group to endorse both of these projects. We have had a long process of 3 years, multiple meetings, iterations and changes. That is a good thing that happened, and it is not done. There will be incredible improvements and changes along the way. Your voices, others will be heard, and there will be greater accountability to meet the goals that we set out collectively. I know this has been a long debate, but I'd like to put this in the context that every one of the sites, like the post office, have been empty for years, decades, sometimes as at least to 78, almost a century. And if we want to solve the problems of putting more kids, like we saw earlier, into after-school and summer jobs and mentoring programs, we want to invest in more activities and more goals for our city, whether those affordable housing, more industrial jobs so people of all walks of life have an opportunity to make a good living. You cannot do that without growing. And growing the economy has been the fundamental North Star of our city, beyond my tenure, for all of us. We had a good debate, a solid debate that is a complement to the democratic process. That process is not over. There will be places along the way, as the Alderman noted, to actually make that contribution. But if you step back and look at this, when you put all 3 of these projects together, they are the equivalent of another O'Hare investment, another Midway investment, and also another red-purple modernization. That's an incredible statement that in the worst of times, we will also have investments that will create the best of times for the city of Chicago. I know there's a lot of hard feelings, there's a lot of strong feelings, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, we've had that debate, it's time to move forward and shape a single future for the children that were just here, and then make sure they have a city that continues to be open for business and welcomes investments and opportunities for that future. Congratulations to everybody that participated, regardless of the vote that they took to making this day happen. Alderman O'Connor.